Maritime.
Maritime.
Natin is ably involved and engaged sa shipbuilding. Kaya sa mga pamilya, sa mga nakikinig sa atin, particular sa may mga gusto na pasukin ang profesyon ng pagbabarko, marami kayong mapulot na mga aral dito sa pinag-uusapan namin tuwing Martes. Karamihan dito lahat, halos na-discuss na natin ang tungkol sa manpower, manning, di kalidad ng mga seafarers, mga Filipino. Hindi ko maintindihan bakit nawala tayo sa GC ng Anytime Maritime. Hindi ko maintindihan kung ano napindot natin kasi hindi naman tayo ganun ka-eksperto sa panahon ngayon ng global technology. Kay Sir Leo Cervantes Sabares, magandang umaga. Advance Valentine's Day po para sa lahat. Actually, ang Valentine's Day is it's not only about the partners o magpartner. Ang totoong Valentine's Day ay pagmamahal sa kapwa-tao, kapwa Pilipino. Ang mga public officials natin, inaasahan natin na lubos ang kanilang pagmamahal sa kanilang mga nasasakupan. Ganon din sa panahon na sabi nila, magkabati pa kaya si former President Tatay Digong Duterte at si President BBM? Hindi ka sure dyan. Kasi ikaw ba naman? Sinisiwalat na ngayon ni former Senator Antonio Trillanes na anytime maglalabas daw ng warrant of arrest ng International Criminal Court laban sa ating dating Pangulo. Sabi naman ng ilang sektor, baka magkaragulo kung sakaling ipahuli si dating Pangulong Digong Duterte. Kasama sa charge sheet yan sina Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, damay si Senator kuya natin Bongo, pati nga ang Vice Presidente natin si Inday Sara Duterte. Talagang pilit na ito ay mapabilang o magiging isang akusado rin ang ating butihing Vice Presidente. Malalaman natin yan ng mga developments. Samantala, halos hindi na pinag-usapan ang People's Initiative ngayon. Parang wala na. Kasi kapag mali ang pamamaraan, mali rin ang hantungan, mali ang ending eh. Kaya parang hindi umobra itong People's Initiative. At ang pag-amyenda ng saligang batas, hindi naman matter of priority yan para sa mga Filipino. Ang pinaka-prioridad ngayon na inaasahan ng mga Pilipino ay kung paano bumaba ang presyo ng bigas. Mahal kaayong bugas. Actually, marami na mga parody, marami mga kanta na maririnig mo ngayon na ang tono ay mahal ang bugas, mga kababayan. Meron ako nakita kahapon, may narinig akong kanta na sa halip na magiging 20, mas lalong tumaas pa at yan 50. Yan 50, mura pa nga yan. May mga tag-67 na kilo ng bigas na ngayon. Ikutin yung mga talipapa. Kung hindi magmudlo mata mo sa presyo. Merong tag-67, merong 68. Mas lalong mahal sa mga supermarket. Grabe. Pagkatapos ang gobyerno natin nagsasabi na palakas ng palakas ang pag-angkat natin ng mga bigas sa buong bansa, ibang bansa. In question, paano ang mga local producers natin? Paano ang ating mga local producers, mga kababayan? I think nandiyan na sa linya natin, sa ating kabilang linya, ang ating mga co-advocators dito sa Anytime Maritime. Ang Anytime Maritime ay nakikibahagi sa selebrasyon ng World Radio Day ngayong araw, February 13, 2024. Ang Palawan Vanguard Online News Agency ay nakikibahagi rin sa World Radio Day celebration. I-check natin sa kabilang linya ang founder ng Anytime Maritime, si Ma'am Mary Ann Ibuna Pastrana. Welcome to Anytime Maritime. Happy celebration of the World Radio Day sa buong mundo.
Hello, GM Alex. Magandang umaga. Hello from Alabang and Happy World Radio Day. May ganun pala.
Thank you.
Ngayon ko lang nalaman, GM Alex, na meron palang World Radio Day. So, ano ba ito? Global celebration ba? Marami bang talagang nagse-celebrate nito?
Yes, ang World Radio Day ay isang selebrasyon na pinangungunahan ng UNESCO sa sakay ng United Nations na siya po ang nag-establish ng World Radio Day hindi lamang sa ibang bahagi ng mundo, ngunit buong mundo. Ngayon, mapahanggang Africa, iba't iba mga bansa sa kagaya ng Amerika, Europa, at dito sa Southeast Asia ay sineselebrate ang World Radio Day. The significance of radio as a medium or ultimate medium of global communication. Ang mga radio practitioners, ang mga broadcasters today ay nagsiselebrate ng nabanggit na event, ang World Radio Day. At kinikilala ng United Nations ang kahalagahan ng radyo sa buhay ng mga mamamayan sa buong mundo. Now, dito sa Pilipinas, may ilang mga lungsod at probinsya, isa na dyan ang lalawigan ng Palawan na nagkaroon ng provincial ordinance para itaguyod, kilalanin at bigyan pugay ang kahalagahan ng broadcast media sa buong mundo. At dito sa lalawigan ng Palawan, mamayang gabi, merong event, merong pagtitipon-tipon ang lahat ng mga broadcast journalists, ang mga radio practitioners, magtitipon-tipon mamaya as organized by the Provincial Public Information Office. So, ang World Radio Day is a global celebration ng lahat ng mga mamamahayag sa radio at ngayon ay multimedia na dahil sa advancement of global technology.
Yeah, I guess totoo yan na napakahalaga ng radyo, no? Kasi pag may mga incidents, disaster, kayo yung unang nagkakalat ng balita, no? Because you are able to reach mga unreachable islands, areas globally. So yes, congratulations and for being here in this industry and have a happy celebration later. So, GM Alex, naririnig ko ang opening radio show mo. And anong tawag dyan sa una mong programa bago tong Anytime Maritime? Public Agenda. Tama ba?
Public Agenda.
Yes, Public Agenda. And I can hear and sense yun na naman yung frustration, no? Ng ating mga kababayan. Mahal na kuryente, mahal na bigas. And then, meron pang charter change, ang usapan niyang People's Initiative. So, namamatay na pala. Narinig nyo na namamatay na yung usapin tungkol dyan. So, ibig sabihin, walang suporta. Tama ba? Hindi sinusupport. Yeah. So, I know, I was in a dinner with a friend priest last Sunday, and that was the topic of our conversation, na talaga namang parang paglapastangan sa ligang batas yung sinusulong nila na People Initiative. Totoo bang People Initiative? Hindi naman yata People Initiative. Political Initiative daw yata. Yun yung usapan namin sa dinner table. So, sana nga, wag naman na nilang i-push yung agenda na yan. Na, if politicians want to stay in power and use that as a platform, wag naman po sana. Dahil kawawa naman yung bayan, di ba? Kung gagamitin na naman yan para sa kanilang sariling interest. So anyway, balik na tayo sa Anytime Maritime. GM Alex, ngayong umaga, I'm very, very excited to talk about building ships, build a nation. Yan. And this morning, we are very, very happy to have with us the chairman of the Society of Naval Architects and Marine Engineers, or SONAME. So, ito pong SONAME ay matagal ng organisasyon dito sa Pilipinas. Very important, very vital, and we will deal and talk about that in the next 2 hours. And our guest this morning is a personal friend who has helped me in many advocacies, no, in the maritime industry. Well, basically maritime industry. He joined me in many activities in the Worldwide Ferry Safety Association activities, kung saan merong mga contest, design contest for naval architects and marine engineering students globally, at siya ay nagsilbing judge for several years. So proud ako na may Pilipino na nagja-judge sa isang global competition for naval architects. And that is no other than, tatawagin ko na ba, GM Alex?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Engineer Samuel Lim. Let's welcome him in Anytime Maritime. Sam, hello! Good morning!
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 Advance Happy Valentine, Anne.
Oo nga.
At sa mga pakinig nyo, thank you for inviting me, Anne.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Sam. Alam ko matagal ko nang sinabi sa iyo na kung natatandaan mo, I think it was the expo you hosted in Cebu, Maritime Expo in Cebu, and I said, "Uy, mag-guest ka naman sa Anytime Maritime." And finally, you're here. Maraming salamat. Thank you. Meet GM Alex. GM Alex is airing from Palawan. And GM Alex, you might want to tell Sam, sino ba ang mga nakikinig sa atin ngayong umagang to?
Okay. Engineer Sam, magandang umaga po. Welcome sa Anytime Maritime. At,
thank you.
Of course, we are being heard and can be seen all over the world sa pamamagitan ng social media network ng RMN sa buong lalawigan ng Palawan. We are broadcasting live from our broadcast center dito sa Puerto Princesa City. Now, tayo rin ay pinapakinggan at makikita sa pamamagitan ng Palawan Vanguard Online News Agency. Ang mga taga-area po ng Southeast Asia, particular sa BIMPIAG growth area, ay maraming mga Filipino ang nanonood sa ating show doon from Bandar Seri Begawan sa Brunei Darussalam, sa Indonesia, at iba't ibang federal districts ng Malaysia. So I think this is a very interesting topic, and what a timely occasion. Dahil ang araw na ito, lahat ng mga broadcast practitioners sa buong mundo, we are celebrating the World Radio Day celebration. So isang napaka-significant ang araw na ito. So excited din ako na malaman ang mga iba't ibang aspeto ng shipbuilding, na kung saan isa ito sa mga haligi sa industriya ng maritime, hindi lamang sa Pilipinas, kundi sa buong mundo. At paano nakikisabay ang mga Filipino, mga inhinyero natin, para mas lalong hindi lang makilala ang Pilipinas, ngunit para tayo ay magiging in sa modern world. Ika nga, sabi nila. So, as our viewers and listeners are also excited to hear from you na mga mahalagang bagay tungkol sa ating pag-uusapan, we would like to warmly welcome you to Anytime Maritime.
Salamat, Alex, sa pagtanggap. Very wide pala ang coverage ng ating broadcast. So I'm really also very excited when Anne told me about it. Kasi marami ho nangyayari sa ating bansa. Marami rin yung dapat mangyari sa ating maritime industry. Particular po itong issue sa naval architecture, sa shipbuilding. Sana ho makatulong ako.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Sam, can you tell us about Tsunami and what are you doing? What are the projects so that people can know, what Tsunami is all about? Please.
Okay. So, 2 oras ba tayo?
You'll
Thank
be
you.
surprised. You'll be surprised at how time flies na pag we're so engaged in the conversation. Ang bilis ng oras. Parang, oh my God, ang dami pa natin pag-uusapan. But yes, we have 2 hours.
Well, we have a long history. First, thank you so much, Anne and Alex, for inviting me. Kasi yung aming profession, yung ating industriya, ay hindi masyado na papakinig ng masa. Unang-una, ang grupo namin, kami ho yung Society of Naval Architects and Marine Engineers. Ang origin ho nito, dati, ang tawag sa amin, PANAME, Philippine Association of Naval Architects and Marine Engineers. 1950s pa ho kami, yung grupo na nag-start ang mga first Filipino naval architects sa Pilipinas. Nag-start yung profession na yan sa school namin sa Mandaluyong, sa NAMEI Polytechnic Institute. And at that time, ang mga licensed naval architect per year was averaging about 3 to 4 only a year. 3, 4 lang a year. So, thank God, with the help of everybody, that's including Anne, and everybody industry supporting us, now, ang average namin ay 45 licensed naval architects a year. So that's like a 10-fold increase. And also the number of maritime schools offering naval architecture, dati isa lang ho yan sa NAMEI. Ngayon, we have 6 institutions offering naval architecture. Kasama na ho dyan nadagdag ang State University na sa USTP sa Hasaan at saka sa Batangas State University. So we're so happy that now the government, especially the state universities and colleges, are offering naval architecture. For us, dapat lang ho yan kasi ang naval architecture po, ano ho yan eh. Kumbaga, compared to the other maritime programs, yung BSMT, BSMARE, marami hong enrollment. For naval architecture, traditionally ho talaga, kukonti lang ho yan. So, tama lang ho na ang gobyerno ho natin ay sumuporta sa profession ho nito. Kasi doon nga sa ating team ngayon, Build a Ship, Build a Nation, maritime po tayo, archipelago po tayo, ang daming isla, marami hong kailangang barko. Pero kukonti lang ho yung naval architects. And I'm not just talking about naval architects sa Pilipinas. Worldwide ho, ang laki ho ng demands for naval architects. And alam ho ni Ma'am Anyan, and with her support, medyo na-uplift ho yung ating profession worldwide and also in the Philippines. So, doon ho sa mga nangyayari ho sa grupo ho namin, sa SONAME, right now, more 1,100 members lang ho tayo. These are composed mostly of licensed naval architect. So kukonti ho yan. 1,100 compared to, let's say, mga mechanical engineers, civil engineers, which numbers up to 10,000, 30,000 license. So kukonti po talaga ang naval architect ho natin. But we're glad things are moving. In fact, since last year, si Commission on Higher Education, or CHED, established the first ever technical panel for naval architecture and marine engineering. So we're so happy for that. We're honored also to be the first chairman of that technical panel. And right now we're in the midst of implementing and finalizing, tweaking our roadmap for naval architecture. So, bigyan niyo akong konting panahon to explain the roadmap kasi po kulang ho talaga ng mga professors sa ating kasi lahat ho sa industriya nag-uumpisa sa edukasyon ho, di ba? So very important po yung quality education sa amin, yun ang focus namin. In fact, you will be surprised na ang Pilipinas, wala pa ho talagang master's degree in naval architecture. Samantalang yun ho ang requirement na maging professor ka sa mga programs sa colleges na nag-offer ng naval architecture. But through our efforts then, we were able to talk to Harbin University from China, of all places from China, and they offered scholarship for our first lady naval architect who possessed master's degree in naval architecture. There's another one from the Maritime Industry Authority taking up that course. Pero ang focus po natin sa technical panel ay i-offer yung master's degree program dito ho sa Pilipinas. Kausap po na natin ang Korea regarding this. So in fact, we're having a meeting very soon with CHED on the Department for Transnational Education para ho i-accredit, dalin yung master's degree program sa Pilipinas at i-offer sa mga schools. Ang isa pa hong fina-focus namin ay yung issue sa research and development. Very alam na alam mo to ni Ma'am Ann kasi yung mga barko niya sa FASCAT, pinapa-test niya yung model, yung design sa abroad pa. I'm talking about towing tank. Yung towing tank po, yan po yung tinetesting yung mga design ng mga barko, ng mga boat. Doon ho tinetesting para tama ho ang estimate sa powering at seakeeping capabilities niya. Meron ho na tayong isang towing tank facility courtesy and through the efforts of our Vice President of SONAMI in Cebu, kay Engineer Jackie sa University of Cebu. But it needs more upgrade. It's not really a commercial grade pa. Marami pang kailangan investment. But wala ho tayo rin dito sa Luzon. So very crucial po ito. Si Ann alam to, ka Alex, ano ho to very crucial sa amin na meron ho tayong towing tank facility or model test basin para ho yung sinasabi ho nating modernization ng shipbuilding, ng fleet sa Pilipinas. Kasama na rin ho yan sa West Philippine Sea issue. Kasi ho, kailangan ho natin ng towing tank para makadesign ho tayo ng tama ng mga boat, ships, and defense. Wala ho pa talaga tayo pang ganun na commercial grade facility. Kasama ho yan sa aming roadmap na for the next 3 years. And I'm so happy also that a lot of the universities, the schools, si Batangas State University, which is our national engineering university, is very interested to host this facility. And also, in fact, even si PMMA, kilala niyo po ang PMMA ho, no? So we were there just 2 weeks ago. There's ang lawak ng kanilang lupain, 30 hectares or more or 60 hectares. And may master plan sila and they wanted us to see if they can host that towing tank facility. In fact, it's also related to the amendment of their law na expand ang PMMA to, I think it will be called PMNA, no, para to offer naval architecture then and all this thing. So marami po nangyayari sa atin na nakakatulong sa aming profession. If I can add, yung regarding po sa shipbuilding na pinag-uusapan ho natin, yung build ship, build a nation. Kasi po talagang kanina na banggit nyo na rin ho ka Alex yung at saka si Ann yung taas na mga kuryente dito, yung mga bilihin, hindi ko masabing nakakatuwa ako o nakakasad, no? Kasi magbibigay lang ako ng example. Cargo vessel o sabihin natin LCT 3,000 deadweight, kung bibili ka sa China sa presyo ngayon, yung huling nakita ko mga 100 million peso, 110 million peso. Pero pag tinanong ko yung kaibigan ko na shipbuilder dito, ang presyo niya mga 200 million na. So ang laki ho ng diferensya because of so many things. Because of so many things. Pero ang madaling sagot ho dyan ay hindi ho patas kasi ang laban. You will be surprised kanina may nag-share ng Facebook sa akin, one of our members working in Chuneshi, dyan po sa Balamban, Cebu. Nag-launch sila ng bagong barko ulit, you know. Successful. Chuneshi, yung mga foreign shipyards na nandito, successful ho sila. So ang tanong, bakit tayo na, you know, Filipino shipyards talaga, owned, controlled, managed, ay hindi maka-match sa kanila? Kasi nga ho, hindi patas ho yung laban. Kumbaga, sila puro perks, incentives, debt free, ganoon. Tayo ho, puro tax, puro materials, tapos yung kuryente ho natin, napakamahal and everything. Ang solusyon naman ho, we were working with Marina. In fact, we've been working for some time with some congressman natin. But lately, ang Marina adopted this shipbuilding bill wherein tinutugunan po yung problemang ito. Sana ho, kasi ang problema ho talaga natin, hindi naman ho yung skill natin, yung tao, marami ho tayong tao. Kung number 1 nga ho tayo sa seafaring, sana maging number 1 din sa shipbuilding. Madali kasi ho yun eh. Ang issue lang talaga, kagaya ng hot topic ngayon na charter change, yung gustong palitan ng sistema, yun sana ang mabigyan pansin ng ating kinaukulan. And through your program, I hope they can be familiarized with our industry and appreciate our problems. Yun po muna siguro, Ma'am Ann, Alex.
Let me ask this question. Kasi the way you expound the presentation about naval architecture, it appears na napakalaking haligi sana ito, o quote-unquote, dapat ito ay pinagtuunan ng pansin ng ating pamahalaan. We are not blaming the government kasi yung mga government executives sometimes may kanya-kanyang priority. But if we can only imagine about this $9 billion industry, ang maritime industry ng Pilipinas, kakibat dapat ang shipbuilding. Tama ka, I agree with you, sir, completely, when you mention bakit hindi pwedeng tapatan o hindi pwedeng pantay ang kalidad ng paggawa ng barko. Number 1, ang mga Filipino ay maraming matatalino, maraming may abilidad, malikhain, at speaking about design, build, alam ko mga Filipino hindi mahuhuli dyan. But ano ba ang kulang? Kapital o direction, o dapat magkakaroon ng policy ang ating mga kinauukulan para mapagtuunan ito ng pansin. May nakikita tayong mga shipbuilders, mga lugar dito sa Pilipinas na gumagawa ng barko, pero not as expected na barko. Kaya kung minsan pag may mga mag-dock dito na cruise ship sa Puerto Princesa, manglulula ka. Not only sa laki, ngunit sa kalidad ng barko. Now, ang ibang bansa, merong mga bansa na nabubuhay ng kanilang ekonomiya sa shipbuilding, which I think Engineer Sam, alam mo ang parameters tungkol dyan, no? Now, in order for us to strengthen our naval architecture, aside from na dapat mag-uumpisa ito from the very purview of institution which offer naval architecture. At you mentioned mo kanina, mahirap din mag-produce ng maraming naval architects dahil nahihirapan nga tayo maghanap ng professor. So, kung may masilan na matawag, isa ito sa pinakamasilan na aspeto ng ating komunidad. Question, ano bang kulang? Capitalization, investment opportunity, governmental support, skill, talent, ano bang kulang? Bakit hindi basta-basta maka-take off ang naval architecture natin, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Alex. I'm sure Ma'am Ann also can comment on this. She knows this very well. On our side, as I mentioned kasi kanina, Alex, yung environment for shipbuilding, dapat pareho tayo sa ibang bansa. Yun ho, ngayon heavily taxed ang ating materyales dito. Bukod, huwag natin sabihin yung power natin napakamahal. Alam na natin lahat. Ang isa pa hong malaking issue rin yung sa finance, yung sa pautang, yung tulong ng gobyerno. If I can mention yung ating government banks, if you look at it, kumaga, hindi ko alam, and Ma'am Ann can, add to this, yung rates nila hindi ho pang development eh. Kailangan para ho bang sa jeepney, Alex, di ba? We can equate it to jeepney modernization. Nag-aangal yung mga jeepney driver kasi, kailangan namin magkooperatiba kasi hindi kami mapautang. Tapos kung mapautang man kami, ang mahal, interest rate, ganun. Similar din po yan. Mabuti nga, meron ho tayong like FastCat. Sorry, Ann, if I make you an example kasi pioneering and kumaga yung ginawa nila, napakaganda. Sila yung nauna, nag-invest sila, nag-risk sila, umutang sila sa bangko. And the cost of doing that is high. Pero sana yung gobyerno natin ang tumulong. Kasi nakita nyo ho yung maganda yung nabanggit nyo Alex yung mga ibang bansa Makikita nyo sa history, ang mga nagiging class 1 o rich countries in the world, nag-i-industrialize sila through shipbuilding, sir Hindi ba, Alex?
Yeah.
Tapos yung technology, hindi naman talaga naging issue kasi from let's say UK or Europe, napunta ng Japan, napunta ng Korea, napunta ng China, Taiwan. Yun Tayo, yun yung foreigner ang pumunta, nakulang, I don't know, bigyan natin example ang Korea. Korea was poorer than us in the 1960s. Pero what happened to them? Diba? Grabe ang suporta ng gobyerno sa kanila. I also happened to also visit China. Grabe yung suporta ng gobyerno sa mga shipyards doon. Binibigyan sila ng lupa, develop na, gumawa na kayo ng barko. Kulang ho sa atin. But to see some positive things, ating presidente po ngayon, si PBBM, sa mga presidente nakita ko, very aware siya ngayon sa maritime. I was talking with the new administrator ng Marina, si Sonia, and nag-represent siya doon, nakikinig talaga ang ating presidente. Sana mabigyan pa ng pansin, pero I hope mas mabilis na panahon kasi ang isang medyo urgent ho personally sa akin at sa grupo namin. Kasi ang focus naman namin sa SONAMI ay makatulong sa bayan through, of course, produce world-class naval architects. Pero yung yung pagiging citizen namin, a Filipino citizen, yung issue sa maritime safety, kasi kaya kami nakikialam sa issue ng classification society, yung mga nagka-class ng barko, sa domestic, kasi ang daming aksidente. Pero yung isa po yung yung defense ho natin. Si SONAMI ho ngayon, we have a MOA with Philippine Navy to help them, free consultancy sa mga ginagawa nilang mga modern vessels abroad, and of course, trying to encourage them to do more of it here. But there are many setbacks. So, yun ho yung urgent talaga kayo kasi kumaga andyan na ho yung, for lack of better word, andyan na ho yung kaaway natin sa doorstep natin. And here we are still importing all these modern vessels, samantalang with the value of the billions of pesos na binibili natin sa isang frigate, sa isang OPV, Corvette, kung magagawa natin dito ng 3-4 times, malaking savings sa atin yun. Yun sana ang mga urgent actions na kailangan natin sa gobyerno. Bukod pa sa tulong sa mga private domestic ship owners here na kailangan ng tulong talaga ng modernization. Yun pa ho, nadagdagan ho yung issue sa West Philippine Sea, and we really wanted to help as much as we can, in our our own little way.
Yeah, I'm glad, Sam, that you mentioned that, no? Because every time I see parang something at kulang or at fault, I always think, ano kaya ginagawa ng mga experts? Parang they should be stepping up. Kung meron tayong makikita problema, parang I always look for the experts, like, what are they doing? So I'm glad that Sonam is really helping. You have just said you mentioned, no, in answer to Jim Alex question about ano ba talaga problema. So you mentioned ang mahal ng kuryente natin, ang mahal ng taxes, like all our inputs sa pagbabarko, tax, walang free dyan, bakal, fuel, pyesa, pintura, lahat imported, so mahal ang tax. GM Alex, dagdagan mo pa ang mahal ng barko. So kailangan mo ngayon ng financing sa bangko. And tama si Sam, hindi mura ang mahal ng interest na binabayad namin sa pagbabarko. So it becomes a barrier for those who would want to invest. Diba? That's why, Sam, thank you for empathizing with us, because I feel that na parang ito na nga kami, we're doing our part in nation building and national unity. Next naman na nation building, national unity, and then government becomes our problem. Diba? Parang how sad naman, this is for the country. And then you talked about education, like aligned ba yung curriculum natin? Nako-close ba natin yung gap between the academe and the industry? If education is the source of our capacity, we must focus on building capacity and close the gap, di ba? So we need government support. We need CHED, ganyan, DepEd to look into this and support. And I think the most important thing that I got from you, Sam, is that shipping is not only for trading, di ba? Yung hindi lang siya pang hanap buhay, hindi lang siya pagdala ng pasahero. We are geographically dispersed as a nation. We are a maritime nation with 7,641 islands. But now more than ever, we realize the importance of shipping in national defense when our sovereignty is being threatened at the West Philippine Sea. Actually, kapitbahay ni GM Alex yan, Palawan. Diyan nangyayari ang mga aksyon. So talagang now more than ever we realize how important it is to have ships to protect our nation. And puro na lang tayo import, bakit hindi dito sa Pilipinas? But I agree with you dahil ako rin yan. Dream ko rin po yan na mga fastcat dito ma-build sa Pilipinas. Pero tama ka, Sam, mas kinikilingan ang imported kesa dito sa Pilipinas. And I actually mentioned that in one forum in Marina. I said, but ganon? Bakit ganon? You're incentivizing building abroad kesa building in the Philippines. And so, I think Marina said nang ginagawa nila yung Maritime Park wherein lahat ng inputs, pwede mo munang dalhin ng tax-free until they fix the law that will maybe say that if the ships will be used domestically, then it will be exempted. Do you think that will happen in our lifetime, Sam? Do you think that is a solution? Sa tingin mo ba kung i-railroad? Because I heard Ma'am Sonia's priority project, yung GM Alex, yung bagong appointed na Marina administrator. So we were in a meeting with her as Women in Maritime, and sinabi niya digitalization, of course yung streamlining of operations inside Marina, and then digitalization, and then legislation, sinabi niya. So Sam, you think yung pangyayari na yon na magkakaroon ng maritime parang park, tas tax-free importation para ready ang supply, because that's also a problem in dry docking Paano matatapos ang dry docking ng mabilis? Lahat ng inputs mo imported. Oh my God, just to deal with the red tape bureaucracy, that's so hard. Anyway, kikwento ko lang mabilis. So, we're opening Zamboanga, Basilan, and
Congrats.
yeah, and of course, Palawan also. And then yung mga taga Mindoro, we had an event in Mindoro. Alam mo, pumupunta yung mga negosyante. And then, inaantay ako, nakikipag-usap. Nahiya nga ako. Sabi ko, ba't nila ako inaantay? And you know why they were waiting for me? Yung mga business people sa Mindoro, they were saying, kailan nyo bubuksan yung papuntang Palawan? Yung Bulalakaw, Mindoro to Palawan, kailan nyo bubuksan? Parang ang tagal-tagal na namin inaantay. And so I was like, cornered, and I said, alam nyo kasi, ang tagal ng dry dock eh. Yung mga barko namin na naka-dry dock, we wanted it to be finished in 2 weeks. That's the ideal dry dock period. Pero hindi namin magawa kasi lahat imported, tapos kulang ng skills. Like, di ba, kung internationally class ang barko, kailangan internationally class din, internationally certified din yung welder. Wala kaming makuha. Kami pa magpapa-certify, Sam, di ba? So talagang, the ripple effect that all of what you're saying, is affecting our industry. So okay, back to my question sa aking confounded question. Sam, you think in our lifetime mangyayari na mababago ang legislation? Makikita kaya natin yon na magiging even ang playing field at sana naman mas kikilingan ng pagiging Pilipino kaysa imported? What do you think, Sam?
That's a good question. The key word there is in our lifetime. Ilan taon na ba tayo?
I know. It's kind of frustrating, but yeah, you think we will see it in our lifetime.
Yung mga sinabi mo, Ann, these are our real life problems in the industry. A simple thing like dry docking, no? Grabe talaga. And kasi when I was younger, galing din ako sa labas, ang dry docking sa amin 1 week lang, right? Angat, linis, pintura, tapos na lahat yan. 1 week kasi per day is cost a lot of money. Pagdating dito, when I started this thing sa domestic, nashock ako kasi 1 month ang dry docking ng iba. 1 month, hindi pa ang dahil materials, everything. Very inefficient ho tayo. And ngayon, it's compounded by a lack of dry docking space, and all this cost comes into play. Yung mga pinag-uusapan natin, yung plano ni Ma'am Sonia sa Marina, maganda ho talaga yun. But at the end of the day, for the shipyards, kasi pagkakausapin mo yung mga shipyards, nasabi, mga taga Navotas, dadalhin lahat sa Gensan, ganun. Yung yung insentibo, yung money, it costs a lot. I remember during pandemic po, kailan lang ho yan, grabe ang epekto sa ating lahat. Ang shipyard industry po, wala ho natanggap na ayuda, kahit ano. So they were forced to lay off people. Yun yung kulang talaga eh. Government, unfortunately, ang hirap humingi sa gobyerno. Gusto natin sana tayo na lang, di ba? Kaso talagang it's so capital intensive na kailangan natin ng tulong. Anyway, yung balik naman sa livelihood. Kasi, for example, yung dating nasarang Hanjin, they were employing 30,000 workers.
Wow.
Ng shipyard. Chuneshi, the same thing, and they're expanding. The whole industry, kulang ng 500,000 workers. Hindi lang yung regular employee, pati subcontractor. Ang dami hong trabaho na hindi na kailangan nila mag-abroad. Mahusay mga Pinoy eh. Ang galing talaga. I'm witness to that. And I've seen them also work abroad. I was in Singapore, nasa Dubai, gano'n. Ang galing nila. Believe ako. Kasi kulang ako yung trabaho dito. Pero kung nandito lahat sila, easy we can be number 1 shipbuilding in the world. I don't see any reason why. Sa capability lang ng mga Pinoy workers natin, world class ho yan. Yung dito lang talaga. Kasi ang nangyari sa atin sa mainstream media and everything, that's why I thank you for doing this. Yung usual thing lang, palengke, jeepney, kailangan i-elevate talaga natin ito, and I'm really glad that you did this Anytime Maritime para malaman ng lahat yung nangyayari sa atin. Kasi remember, ang sama nung safety record natin. And through Ann and his initiatives, modernizations, they are leading the way para wala na yung aksidente sana sa domestic. This one can easily be controlled. And there's more to be done on that aspect. So, yung tanong mo, Ann, about in our lifetime, siguro pag mabigyan talaga yung batas na nasa Kongreso na marinig ka agad, yun ang kailangan i-certify urgent eh. Hindi yung cha-cha o ano.
Correct.
Yun ang kailangan i-certify urgent, yung mga maritime bills natin. Biro nyo yung, for example, itong Philippine Ship Registry bill na lang. Alex, ayan ho yung Philippine flag natin. Ilang kongreso na ho dumaan, hindi ho napansin yan eh. Pero biro nyo ho, balik lang ho tayo sa mga seaman ho natin, sa mga global maritime professionals natin. Number 1, number 2 tayo sa world, no? Filipino seafarers. Pero sumasakay ho sila, hindi sa Philippine flag. Sa Panama flag, Liberian flag, kung ano-anong flag. So bakit nga ba hindi Philippine flag? So kaya nga yung batas na yon, very crucial at sana pansinin kaagad ng gobyerno kasi ang daming balik na sa atin yun. The same thing with shipbuilding. So I still hope na our government, if they're listening, can really prioritize these bills. Hindi ho cha-cha or anything else. Kailangan natin maritime bills, ipasa na ho nila kasi matagal na rin ho naman. Pansinin naman ho tayo. Yun lang, Ann.
Yeah. And I think actually, kapag ginawa yung mga boat dito sa Pilipinas, imagine the ripple effect pag binalik natin yung pera sa ating ekonomiya. Diba? Iikot yun. Magbibigay ng hanap buhay. Yung may hanap buhay, bibili ng pagkain. So, it will go back to the system. Kesa kung imported po ang pera na pupunta dun sa ibang bansa, hindi sa atin, no? So we want the jobs here and we want to build the ships here. You're saying, Sam, that we have the capability as Filipinos. So what we need is the legislation to make it happen. And sige, pwede nating push yan within our lifetime, Sam. Pagtulungan natin kasama si GM Alex na magaling mag-lobby sa Congress. GM Alex, kailangan certified urgent itong mga batas tungkol sa shipbuilding, so that we can even the playing field and give that opportunity to our fellow Filipinos. And idadagdag ko lang na you were saying, anong number na mga nagte-take up ng naval architecture. And when I was talking to some schools, they were saying they're not offering it kasi hindi daw nagkakaroon ng trabaho after. So they will only offer it kung may trabaho after. So talagang, it's a cycle, it's a system. We have to start thinking systematically. Hindi ships alone, hindi people alone, hindi ports alone, but ships, ports, people, maritime industry, Philippine maritime industry, global maritime industry. I think that's the approach. Anyway, Jim Alex, you were asking, sorry, kanina pa ako sumisingit sa'yo. Ano pa yung gusto mong tanong? Please. Mika,
actually, based on the discussion, yung mga sinasabi ni Sir Sam, nakikita ko at nararamdaman na hindi lang pala oversight ang meron tayo. Oversight in terms of governmental support, but it's been long overdue. Malit pa ako noon, high school, sinasabi ng mga leaders natin na ang Pilipinas noon is next to Japan when it comes to economy. I think that was before the late 50s and early 60s. Nakalungkot man sabihin, ayaw ko nang banggitin ng mga bansa na ngayon ay sobra na ang paglipad ng kanilang ekonomiya. May mga bansa noon na nagalugaw pa lang ang Pilipinas, primera klaseng bigas na kinakain. At ngayon, itong isang bansa na malaki na dati ay nagalugaw lang, yan din ang isang nambubuli sa atin ngayon sa West Philippine Sea. Now, kung titingnan mo ang sitwasyon natin, from generation to generation of leaders, sa aspeto ng maritime industry, ang mindset ng gobyerno natin sa halip na mag-progress, parang may naramdaman akong retrogression, parang deteriorating instead of accelerating the situation. Ang kinakaharap natin ngayon, including your group, the Tsunami, is Herculean in nature. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng gawin ng Marina agad-agad kung ano ang nasa pipeline ng gustong mangyari ng bagong administrator unless and until magkakaroon ng revisit sa mga batas tungkol sa maritime industry. The Marina itself cannot decide na, sige, maglalagay kami ng isang area for shipyard, for shipbuilding. Alam naman natin, shipbuilding is pang-priming employment opportunities. Ang mangyayari dyan, Sir Sam, Marina will propose to the office of the President na ito nakikita namin sa modernong panahon at kailangan na ng Pilipinas, ng bansa natin, makipagsabayan sa paggawa ng barko. Kisa kung minsan mamabalimos tayo sa Amerika, napadalhan tayo ng barko. Kung minsan akala mo pinadala, yun pala utang. Mamabalimos tayo kani-kaninong bansa ng mga machine gun sa barko. Samantala, I believe, maraming Pilipino ang baka mas maganda pa at magaling pa gumawa ng matibay na barko. So, if the President is now looking at seryoso na pagtugon sa mga hinaing ng sector like the maritime industry, pag sinabi ng Presidente, itabi nyo muna yan, ang mga pang-political, pang-personal na mga kung ano dyan, ito ang pinaka-urgent. Do it. Pati interest rates ng bangko, i-adjust ninyo through legislation. Ang lahat ng ito, Sir Sam, ay posibleng mangyari kapag seryoso na tugunan ng ating gobyerno, yung mga key players. At pag nag-synchronize ang executive at ang legislative, magiging well-meaning ang kalalabasan ng batas. That way, naniniwala ako may mangyayari. Kasi ang sitwasyon natin ngayon, sa halip na progression, retrogression, bigas, tingnan mo. Baka ang mga nakikinig sa atin, bigla nila sabihin, paano gawin ng gobyerno na ang interest ng bangko ay i-lower down. Not necessarily going to be a class legislation na paboran ang nasa maritime industry. But kailan pantay-pantay? I-adjust ang interest rates, i-regulate titingnan ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas kung ano mangyayari. Pero sabihin naman ng mga nakikinig sa atin at nanonood, ibigas lang nga para nahirapan magremedyo ang gobyerno natin. Shipbuilding pa kaya? What do you think? Ako rin naniniwala na walang imposible kapag ang gobyerno gawin niyang matter of priority ang isang bagay na haligi ng ating ekonomiya. I cannot imagine. Pag natumba ang maritime industry, what will happen to our economy sa bansang ito, Sir Sam?
Alex, I really like your positivity and outlook. We are on the same page on that, Alex. Kaya kami nandito, still pushing on things. Of course, pero kailangan din nila malaman ano nangyayari. If you talk about yung tungkol sa defense natin, national defense, you can see na yung panahon ng father ng ating presidente ngayon, ang daming ginagawang mga barko dito. and mga research kasi nakita ko yung presentation ng Navy eh. And after his term, and throughout those years until the presidency of Pinoy, walang ginawa tayo na shipbuilding for defense, no? Defense ho to. Puro ho siya, yun nga, yung sinabi niyo, sir, yung donation from the US, kung saan. Alam niyo, yun yung pinoproblema ngayon ng Navy eh. Kasi kaya nag-uusap po kami, paano i-maintain yun? Eh, iba-ibang modelo, iba-ibang machinery.
Correct.
Ang hirap po i-maintain. So, kaya nga itong mga discussion namin ho sa Navy is focused on para kahit na mag-order ngayon, may consistency yung mga spare parts, yung maintenance, ganun, para sa future. Pero, we're still pushing na the next orders nila dito na ho gawin sa Pilipinas. Kaso, nahihirapan din ho sila dito makahanap ng shipyard na pwede nilang maging katungga, ka-partner. Anyway, if you look at history din, sir, makikita nyo, ang gobyerno noon, may sariling shipping company. Tinatag din nila yung first shipyard, yung NASCO, na Baseco na ang tawag ngayon. Kailangan ho talaga yung ganung klaseng suporta para to jumpstart everything. Mahirap po even our program, Naval Architecture, mahirap ihayaan ng private sector, private schools to earn money from offering naval architecture because it's not a profitable program. Ano talaga yun eh. Kasi di ba, kung may school kayo, gusto nyo kumita, syempre, doon ka sa program na maraming mag-enroll. Ang naval architecture, hindi talaga, traditionally, hindi ho talaga ganun. So, kailangan mo talaga yung gobyerno talaga sana. And I'm very hopeful with our president now. Kasi may history nga yung father niya to help us on this aspect. I'm so glad now we're more active on what's happening with the West Philippine Sea. Para gisingin nyo tayo lahat, we need to act. Although it's late if you ask me, but at least we do something now. Doon sa ibang aspeto ho, nandyan naman ho, of course, yung time nga, yung kailan mangyayari, we just need to work on it every day. Every day. I'm still hopeful. Ka Alex. We're a maritime nation. Marami ho nangyayari. Yung sinabi nyo kanina na napapakinggan ho tayo sa BARM,
yes.
Sa mga Muslim brothers, gusto ko rin ho yan topic na yan kasi napunta na ho ako dyan from Holo to Tawi-Tawi to Zamboanga. I've been to Sandakan also. Nakita ko yung ang ganda ng lugar. Ang ganda ho ng lugar. And ang ganda maglayag ng mga ferry doon or boats kasi wala hong bagyo. Hindi ho masyado maalon doon. And they need transportation there. And thank you for Company of Ann to putting a vessel there, modern vessel there. Marami hong pwedeng gawin sa BARM. Kasi ang isa hong idea dyan na napag-uusapan na before, yung kanina sinabi ko sa inyo, yung ship registry, makikita nyo ang number 1 flag sa buong mundo, Panama, ano kinalaman ng Panama sa atin, di ba? Pero kung meron tayo kung ang Philippine flag sana natin ay very competitive, ma-encourage natin yung mga foreign owners to register sa atin dito sa Philippines. Kung maaari din, pwede din tayong gumawa ng parang tax-free flag, kagaya ni Malaysia, meron siyang Labuan, di ba? Meron tayong isla dyan sa BARM na pwedeng gawing tax-free, mag-register ng barko. Marami yung potential ang Pilipinas ho eh. We just need to continue working together on this one. And hopefully...
I think, Sir Sam, I believe itong pinag-uusapan natin ngayon has something to do with our continuing quest right now na makakatulong sa pamamagitan ng BIMPIAG Business Council na magkakaroon tayo ng not potential but consistent link up. Modesty aside, ako ngayon ang presidente ng Palawan Economic Development Council, which this Palawan Economic Development Council, we are recognized as part and parcel of BIMPIAGA Business Council. Actually, itong January 19 to 22, dinala namin dito sa Puerto Princesa ang mga executives ng BIMPIAGA. Dito kami nag-convention. And marami kaming mga memorandum of understanding na pinirmahan. In fact, isa ako sa nagperma. Now, I think binigyan mo ako ng idea tungkol sa, when you mentioned about Sandakan, Labuan, actually, papunta kami ulit doon para i-open ang trading between them at ang lalawigan ng Palawan. Ang BARM ay isa rin sa Business Council kabilang sa BIMPIAGA. Ang BARM, Zamboanga, Davao, wala sa Luzon. Pero meron tayo dito sa Palawan. So, 4 na mga Business Council na ito ay kabilang sa BIMPIAGA Business Council. And I think we can do something about it. Ngayon ko lang nakita yung parameters, and then when you mention about kay Ma'am Marian that they are now providing services sa territorial waters ng even Basilan and everything, I think we can do something about it when it comes to trading, just for the information. Now, my question is, you mentioned about, naniniwala ka na mabigyan pansin ng Kongreso natin itong mga pending legislation which you believe makapagpatibay sa naval architecture and maritime industry itself. Alin at anong mga pending bills subject for legislative green light itong nakabinbin ngayon sa Kongreso ng Pilipinas?
Thank you, Ka Alex. Ka Alex, you can hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Una ho, no, ito na-discuss na rin ho namin kay Ma'am Sonia ng Marina. Ang fina-focus niya yung, number 1, yung Philippine flag, yung ship registry. Second ho, yung issue sa Shipbuilding Modernization Act. And sa akin ho, yung isa na importante rin yung law ni PMMA na to expansion ng PMMA to PMNA para maka-offer din ho siya ng naval architecture and other maritime courses. Alam ko may mga congressman na dyan na nasa kongreso yan na nag-adapt yan. Hindi ko lang ho alam ang status ngayon. But Sonia is focusing on this kasi meron siyang team para sa legislative. Before this administration, kasi dati meron ho kaming, very close ho kami doon sa ANCLA party list. Yung ANCLA party list, siya ho yung nagpasa ng STCW bill law ni Marina para sa EMSA. Siya din ho actually ang nagpasa ng Naval Architecture Modernization Law after 50 years. Mabilis siya magtrabaho. Unfortunately, hindi na ho kami na-elect yung ANCLA party list, so iba na ho yung nag-handle ho nito ngayon. Pero I'm sure marami naman tayo sa maritime na may kilala sa Kongreso ngayon, at Senado, na makakatulong ho sa atin. And anytime mo, ang SONAME, if kailangan naming makapag-participate, give information, education, familiarization, nandito lang ho kami.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
good.
siguro ang isa sa tinitingnan nating magiging effect ng legislative action ng Kongreso, itong Shipbuilding Act pala, hindi pa ito naisabatas. And hopefully, itong magiging shipbuilding act ng Republika ng Pilipinas, ito ang magbibigay hudyat para magkaroon tayo ng panibagong direksyon. Kung masasabi man nating panibagong direksyon.
Opo.
Because for me, it's been long overdue.
Opo.
At saka, naalala ko, yung mga nabasa ko dati na Philippine Officials Review, may mga nagiging congressman tayo na may mga may-ari ng shipping lines. To mention a few, si William Chungbian. Dating nasa industriya ng pagbabarko yan. At siguro yung mga kamag-anakan nila, basta maraming mga naging congressman ang mga operators ng mga shipping lines noon. So, hindi natin maintindihan kung bakit hindi talaga masyadong naisulong. At saka may party list din tayo about maritime industry. I think ang Marino nandyan pa. Ang Angkla, kung wala na, siguro i-revisit ang mga pending bills na naipasa nila at dependihan ko minsan sa paglalabi. But if our incumbent president, PBBM, is keen at addressing maritime industry, I don't think na hindi ito magawa ng paraan. Because it's the president who can only certify not only to the urgency, but to the actual need. Kasi nakikita ko, ang shipbuilding is also a billion worth na gawain. At tama ka kanina, Sir Sam, bakit pa kailangan ng mga skilled workers kumuha ng in-situ certification from TESDA para pumunta at magiging welder sa Saudi Arabia, magiging pipe fitters doon sa gitnang silangan, na pwede naman silang i-utilize. Kung world class ang pag-uusapan, kung quality ng paggawa ng barko ang pag-uusapan, yung competition ng sahod nila, world class din. Ibig sabihin, hindi na nila kailangan mga ibang bansa just to work sa mga shipyard. Alam ko maraming Pilipino sa shipbuilding ang nagtatrabaho rin sa ibang bansa. So, legislation and execution ng batas, I really believe, I'm positive na may mangyayari sa inaasahan natin.
Tama po kayo.
Sana
Tama.
nga, no, Sam? Sana nga. Sorry.
Kung ma-share ko rin sa inyo, Alex Ann, yung mga naval architects po natin and ibang shipyard workers. Kasi remember, nung nagsara si Hanjin, marami nawalan ng trabaho. From the information we already have, and I have friends na working abroad, ang Japan ho, kumukuha na ng mga Filipino shipyard workers. Because Japan talaga, wala na, konti na ang mga tao doon. But the future is, and I was talking with these Koreans, na pati sila, ganun na rin ang trend. Kumukonti na rin ang naval architects doon. Nagsara na yung isang naval architecture program sa isang university. Kasi hindi dahil sa kulang ng trabaho, kasi shipbuilding yun is all full, di ba? Pero dahil sa yung trend ba na kumukonti na rin yung population nila, yung trend na pupunta sa naval architecture, kumukonti na rin ho ngayon. And that's why they're also looking at Philippines on how to cooperate, with us. And kami naman, we just want to be the channel ng transfer of technology, from a big shipbuilding nation like Korea to the Philippines, to our locals. So maganda yung sinabi nyo ka, Alex. I totally agree. Legislation o talaga sa executive, yung focus niya, gawin niyang priority bill to or something, mabilis to. Kasi yung batas lang sa PMMA na matagal nang hinihintay din ni Commodore Joel Abutal, I was talking with him 2 weeks ago, natatagalan din. Pero napaka-importante yung bill na yun kasi yung sa education side, you know, para we
Alam
can
mo,
have an academy comparable to the US Academy, Naval Academy. Yeah.
kung shipbuilding, alam mo, sa lawak ng Palawan, sa ganda ng kapaligiran ng Palawan, Palawan can be one of a very potential shipyard dito sa amin. At malaking bagay yan. Kasi nasa kabisera kami ng West Philippine Sea at malapit din kami sa backdoor. Kaya ang Palawan ay miyembro ng BIMPIAG Business Council. So naisip ko lang, pumasok lang sa isipan ko na why not in Palawan kung sakaling matuloy yan. Napakaganda na magiging shipbuilding yard ang isang area dito sa lalawigan ng Palawan, sir.
Suporta ako dyan, Alex, kasi maganda rin yung, besides yung shipyard dyan, maging birth din ng mga Navy vessels, you know.
Correct.
Diyan yung kaaway natin eh. Nandyan na sa atin. Kailangan ho talaga. Strategic and government should recognize this eh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, strategically, ang posisyon ng Palawan ay napaka akmang-akma, no? Sa nangyayari ngayon sa West Philippine Sea. And yeah, dudugtungan ko lang, Sam. So you were talking about opportunities in the flag registry of the Philippines.
Yes.
And paano ba revenue stream doon? Paano makikita ang Pilipinas sa flag registry? Because we always hear about flag registry and the opportunities and what it can do for our country. And you're saying ships and why Panama is doing so well. How does a nation earn from having their ships flagged by our country?
Okay. Yeah, very good question, Maman. If actually may kausap ako last Saturday lang from the dati siyang staff ng Panama Maritime Directorate, no? There will be an election sa May and mukhang baka mapalitan yung mga taga Panama office dito. Very lucrative kasi yan. Let's not look at the taxes kasi almost like tax-free yan. Kaya nga pumupunta ang mga ship owners dyan eh. No? But yung mga ripple effect niya na yung mga seaman natin, kasi you earn from the seafarers din eh sa mga registrations nila, accreditation ng mga training, marami hong effect yung mga flag registry na yan na balik din sa Pilipinas in another way. Para ba yung shipbuilding, bigyan mo wala ng VAT, yung mga importation na yan, lahat, no? The Department of Finance will see, oh, sayang naman. But ang equivalent yan yung jobs, ang laki ng ripple effect eh. See? And in addition, in fact, if let's say Philippine flag ang Panama flag, yung mga ship management office, mas dadami dito kasi nandito na eh. You know? Plus other things like tourism, this thing, dadagdag rin ho yan. Ang ganda nung Panama model, Liberian model, Marshall Islands, biro yung mga islang walang kwenta na, you know, wala namang doon. Pero ang laki ng kita nila. Laki. Sana, you know, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to benchmark what they're doing. Yun na eh. Yun eh. Ang gusto lang naman ng mga ship owners like Japan, Greece, Norway, yung stability. Na if they do this, hindi magulo. Yung politics na naman kasi talaga tayo, mahilig tayo sa politics eh. Yung stability na pag nag-flag sila sa Philippines, wala na issue. Kahit sinong presidente o congressman, yun pa rin yun. Wala makakagalaw. Kasi it affects the world, no? If somehow the flag is affected. Kaya if you will hear itong mga issues sa flag, tahimik sila eh. Tahimik na tahimik. Kasi actually, they're avoiding tax. Which is hindi naman illegal to avoid tax. Hindi ba? So, it's a good way for them to economize and, spread out the risk kasi very risky ang shipping. Pero yung flag mismo, ang laking pera ho doon. ilan hong seaman natin. Hindi lang ho sa atin, pati foreign crew na nasa Philippine flag, for example, magre-register din ho sa atin. May fees ho yun recurring fees and others. Sana mabigyan pansin to ng Kongreso. Yung
Wow,
bang,
nice. Yeah.
yung bang yung isip na, kita ka agad, hindi. Yung ripple effect yun lagi ang dapat. Strategic ho dapat ang sana ma-realize ng ating legislators.
So strategic and long-term, no? Long-term thinking and sustainable, no? Kasi alam natin pagka gusto yung money, quick buck right now, anong nangyayari sa atin, di ba? So like, like example, itong issue ng People's Initiative, kung intensyon ng mga politiko, pahabain yung kanilang term and stay in power, and then what about the people? Di ba? Paano na lang tayo ulit? Babalik ako dyan. So, Sam, in Anytime Maritime, our goal is to get a lot of people more aware of the maritime industry, get a sense of what the maritime industry is and who the players are and where they can be. And in our conversation now, I can hear the importance of politics, legislation. And then, ang nangyayari, tinitingala natin yung mga nasa Kongreso, ang nagsusulat ng batas, but then maybe the young people don't realize the power they have in putting those people in place. Di ba? Dapat yata, GM Alex, we get the young people in conversation in choosing the right people in their power to put people there. We have to educate them. Hindi parang nagkakaw na lang tayo na sila. Don't get us wrong. We don't want to bash. We're not haters, but we want to make them accountable. If they're in office, they should be in the know and helping us. But we realize na, syempre, role din natin na mag-lobby, and we push our agenda because of the effect that it will do to us. So, we have on board Anytime Maritime the PAMI, no? Sila Sar, Manglikmot, sila Merly San Pedro, Women in Maritime, of course, Marina. So they're all on board Anytime Maritime, and we use this platform so that they can come back and watch. The young students can come back and watch Anytime Maritime episode. So my question, Sam, we're talking to the young people now. From where you are, what would be your call for action to these young people in relation to your industry? Well, your Soname, yung profession as Soname. What would you tell the young people? What would you make them do? Well, yeah. Sige, yun na muna. Compounded, ang daming tatanong sa utak ko. But yes, please, that first.
Yun na yung your questions are always challenging. No, very good question. And this I also tell our members, our students, talagang the future is in their hands. Itong mga young generation natin, millennials, very active sila. And ang nakita ko sa kanila na sila, yung network and relationship nila maganda, walang mga ang scientists or mga chip on their shoulder. Very open sila and teamwork. Yun ang nakita ko compared to the older generation na maraming problema sa buhay. So they really are looking at the future and how can they help. In fact, doon sa grupo namin, yung mga students ng mga naval architecture, mga students pa lang, meron silang sariling asosasyon, lahat ng maritime schools, yung students ng maritime schools offering naval architecture. In fact, they just finished last week their annual convention. So bonding sila doon, everybody. And I always tell them, there's influence, power in that bonding kasi you are the next generation replacing us. And maraming pwedeng gawin. Of course, a lot of them are being poached abroad. Ang dami kasing opportunities abroad. Yun nangyayari kasi as the world ages, yung mga naval architects sa US, kung sa mga modern countries, hindi na rin kaya mag-computer. So kailangan nila itong mga next generation na mga nung panahon namin na puro drawing lang, you know. Ngayon AutoCAD na, you know, mabilis na sila. Yun yung mga message that we tell them, you need to prepare for it. Huwag yung sirain ang reputasyon nyo, but because that will stay with you throughout your life. Yung network nyo, yung relationship nyo, very important kasi you will be replacing our generation, and then you will be placed in key positions na you need that relationship. Pero ang importante, isa lang yung ating goal sa maritime. You know, I think nakita nila, kasi nung panahon namin, puro photocopy lang yung mga books, walang internet. Ngayon, they know what's happening everywhere. So, alam nila yung tamang gawin eh. You know? They have models for it. And as you said, Ann, of course, it starts with voting the right people to Congress. yun eh. Yun actually ang key sa success ng ating bansa eh. If we are voting the right people as our representatives, hindi yung voting them because they have their own business or something, you know, I don't know. But voting the right people, alam, especially sa maritime, di ba?
Yeah. Yung may alam at naiintindihan tayo, di ba?
Yeah. So, yun, continuous yun. And that's why rin kami sa SONAME, and thank you, Ann, for participating always. We're also holding our annual Cebu Maritime Expo. Thank you, Ann. Laging nandiyan si Ann to support us kasi we believe din na Cebu being the shipping capital ng Philippines, dapat may sariling expo to market, to promote maritime eh. We need to promote this, and since SONAME naman yan and Marina, non-profit naman kami, you know, ang cost namin is just to give back to the industry through scholarships, you know. So, yun, tulong-tulong lang, promote.
Agree. Anyway, Sam, GM Alex, meron pong gustong mag-guest sa atin, uninvited guest. Come here, Mr.
Okay.
Pastrana is an invited guest. He wants to say hi.
Isang magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, Engineer Sam.
Hi,
Ako ay nagpresenta, GM Alex, ako po ay nagpresenta para salita ngayong umaga kasi naririnig ko po ang inyong mga pinag-uusapan. Gusto ko lang pong dagdagan, kung inyong mamarapatin, gusto ko lang pong dagdagan ang mga issues na nakaka-apekto sa ating maritime industry. Siguro mag-iiwan lang po ako ng tatlong mahalagang bagay, no? Engineer Sam, nakasama kita sa Marina Board at nakita ko kung paano sinubukan natin itulak at ilunsad yung mga programa na makakabuti sa maritime industry. Ang isa po ang siguro, umpisahan po natin ang mga pinagdadaanan ng private sector upang magawa ang mga nararapat para mapabuti ang kalagayan ng ating mananakay at bigyan sila ng mas mabuting pamamaraan ng paglalakbay sa isang bansa na napapaligiran ng malawak na karagatan. Ang sa akin po, unang-una, ang government, parati ko po sinasabi, is not in the business of making money. They're in the business of providing public service to our people. Ang isa hong issue na nakaka-apekto kung bakit mataas ang bilihin, parati pong sinasabi, hindi, mataas ang shipping cost. Ngunit, kung inyo pong hihimayin, ang shipping component po ay napakaliit compared po sa mga nagiging gastos ng mga ngalakal, manufacturers, sa mga ating farmers para makadating po ang produkto sa merkado. Kaya po siguro dapat pag-aralan natin maigi na siguro yung regulations at saka mga fees na sinisingil po sa domestic shipping ay talagang mapag-aralan ng husto dahil kailangan po natin matulungan ang ating mga kababayan na mapababa ang cost of transportation na siya rin kung naging isa sa priority ng ating nakaupong Pangulo na si Presidente Marcos. Kailangan lang po siguro ay mapag-aralan maigi kung ano po itong mga ito at isulong natin ang para mapabuti ang mga cost of na nakaka-apekto sa mga produkto natin. So, alam niyo po, ang Engineer Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, there are more or less three major components in shipbuilding. One is the cost of steel, one is cost of power, and the other one is our labor. Yung labor ho, wala tayong no question, magaling po ang Pilipino. I just came from Japan. I went to Yano Shipyard. And marami pong Pilipinong nagtatrabaho doon. Every month, meron silang binababa na isang barko. And I'm proud to see that Filipinos are working very hard, diligently, para ho makaproduce ng magaganda at world-class na barko. Hindi lang po ito sa Japan, ngunit sa iba pang bansa. Ang sa akin po, yung cost of steel. Wala ho tayong steel industry. Nung araw, meron po tayo. Napakamahal ho ng bakal. At pagpasok po dito, kailangan pa ho tayo magbayad ng mga buwis. So, isa po yan sa pinag-usapan nyo kanina na bakit po na kung manggagaling ka sa ibang bansa, merong mga insentibo para makagawa ka ng barko na tax-free. Dito po sa ating bansa, matagal na ho namin na pag-uusapan yan at kasama ho namin si Engineer Sam na itinutulak po namin yan na sana po ang paggawa ng barko ay really maging tax-free na talagang seryosong tax-free, hindi ho yung sa papel lang. Ang isa pong component din po is power. Napakamahal ng ating power, kaya po medyo mataas ang cost ng pag-construct ng barko. We've been pushing during the time of President Arroyo na 10% sana ng mga shipyards na malalaki because I think we're number 4 in the top 5 of shipbuilders in the world na kung pwede tulak natin ang ibang produksyon nila na 10% sa domestic shipping. Ngunit hindi ho possible kasi yung scale ho ng kanilang shipyard really designed for big ships. So nasang-ayon po ako sinasabi ni Engineer Sam na sana po ay maisulong at maitulak natin ang genuine domestic shipbuilding industry. Kasi talaga pong makakatulong ito sa ating bansa at sa ating quality of domestic ships in the country. So, yun pong sa aking opinion na sana po madagdag natin sa usapin natin. Tama po kayo na sinasabi ninyo sana ang ating legislators will focus really on the critical issues that affects the country as a whole, especially a maritime country like ours. Yung isa pa ho sana na akin hong share sa inyo, ilang beses na po ako naimbitahan na isama sa Japan at napag-usapan namin sa Ministry of Transport nila how the government supports the domestic shipbuilding in Japan. Alam niyo po, ang mga ship owners doon, binibigyan sila ng magandang credit at saka suporta na every number of years, they're required to change their ships to brand new para may continuity ang kanilang shipbuilding. At napakagaan at napakamura ng binibigay sa kanilang suporta ang cost of the ships because alam ho nila na this is in support of nation building. So, sana ho, siguro tingnan ho natin yung mga magagandang best practices sa iba-ibang bansa. Pag magpunta ka ho sa ibang bansa o mag-register ka sa Flag of Convenience, in 1 to 2 days, kaya nyo pong parehistro ang ating mga barko. Dito po, inaabot kami ng 45 days to 60 days, sometimes 90 days, just to have our ships registered and operate. Pagkatapos mo hong important, isipin nyo ho yung cost of money, cost of labor na crew na naka-standby lang ho yung barko. Sana po pag-aralan natin how to streamline bureaucracy because in other countries, they can operate ships immediately. Within 48 hours, pwede na po kayo mag-operate at maglayag. Dito po, Diyos ko, napakatagal at ang daming proseso. So yan po mga dinadaanan namin. Huli na lang po, ang isa po sa anang gusto kong i-share sa inyo na napakahalaga rin ay yung tulungan natin yung ating mga seafarers kasi admittedly, marami po tayong mga gumagraduate na mga marino. Ngunit hindi ho nila papatuloy ang kanilang edukasyon dahil sa dala ng kahirapan at kamahalan ng cost of study and becoming a seafarer. But sana po magkaroon tayo ng sustainable and long-term plan to be able to address this issue kasi wealth po ng bansa yan Yung remittances ho ng mga seafarers sa bansa ay napakalaki. So sana po tulungan natin sila at magkaroon talaga tayo ng mga binanggit ho ni Engineer Sam yung mga batas na nakapending. Sana ho maitulak natin yan. Alam nyo, nag-attend po ako nung panahon ni President Aquino ng conference sa Seattle. Yung mga karatig nating bansa, Japan, China, Thailand, Vietnam, all of them. Alam nyo tayo, yung Maritime Development Plan natin na 2028, na I'm glad that the President already signed it and it's going to be an executive order. Ang sa akin po, ginawa ho yan nung panahon ni President, I think it started panahon ni President Aquino. And then it continued. In 2028 yan, Maritime Development 2028. Alam niyo ho ba nung nagpunta ako sa Seattle noon, ang plano ho ng mga karating bansa natin, 2050. Ganun ho kalayo sila magplano. Alam na ho nila kung ano yung connectivity, yung mga ports na gagawin, volume, traffic, all of them, they have all studies and they presented it to us. I was surprised that the Philippines didn't have any concrete plans. I asked the government representatives during that meeting na nasan po yung atin, and I raised the issue to the Department of Transportation. Sana po, hindi lang ho 2028 ang ating tingnan. Let's go beyond it. Because our neighbors, the coastline of the entire Vietnam have plans how to service all the inland, all the way to Cambodia, all the way to Thailand. Ganon rin yung connectivity na ginawa ng China. They're talking of 50 billion. So the volume is just amazing. So sana po tayo, let's move forward, and sana po yung mga ating mga nakaupo sa pamahalaan ay really mag-focus ng long-term and sustainable plan. So dati po, ang Japan gumagawa ng wood. Nakansawan po kami nung panahon ni President Arroyo, nagpunta po kami sa Japan ng mga maritime sector. Sabi, many years ago, Japan was building wooden hull boats. And now, we're building ships that are so modern, so light, so fast, so fuel efficient, environment friendly. And yet, Philippines still using Philippine wooden hull boats. Parang nakakahiya po kasi we are a maritime nation. We have a strong country. Our people are very good and very talented. Gamitin po sana natin ito para maisulong at mapaunlad ang ating domestic shipping industry. Sumingit lang po ako, ang Boss Sam at GM Alex. Hindi
Yes,
po
sir.
programa ng misis ko ito at programa ng Anytime Maritime. Kaya lang talagang medyo malapit ho sa puso ko itong maritime industry. Kaya nakiusap ako sa kanya na, Boss, pwede bang sumingit lang? Yun lang po at maraming salamat
Well
po sa
said.
inyo at magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, Che.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
He couldn't help himself. He wanted to butt in. Totoo naman ang mga sinasabi. Talaga namang ang dami nating dapat gawin, no, Sam? And, you know, GM, Alex, si Sam, isa yan sa halige na talagang aktibong nag-a-attend, nagpupunta sa lahat ng mga maritime issues na kinakaharap ng ating bayan. At tama ka, Sam, ang mga kabataan natin, sila ang ating future. Kaya talagang dapat himbukin natin sila na maging aktibo sa ating advocacy, no? Young people. That's also what I tell our people in FastCat, no? Parang kayo na yung future nito eh. Ito yung bayan natin. And hindi natin sinisisi at hindi natin parang tinatatwa na nag-a-abroad o lumalabas. That's okay. But what about our country? If everybody thinks the same way, paano na lang po yung bayan natin at paano po ang future? So, tira mo, Sama, 1 hour and a half na tayo. Hindi pa natin nasasagot lahat. And I think this is the time that we have to flash the questions because natanong na kami before na they are sending questions and then we don't ask it. So we have to ask the questions. Yes, Mika, please do flash the questions so that we can get the ball rolling because we want to engage our viewers, you know, because part sila nitong ating advocacy on Anytime Maritime. So Mika, please flash the question. Wow, okay. Yeah. Meg sabi, wow, galing, lumabas pati si Sir Chet. Meron phone-in question, galing, lumabas si Sir Chet. Oy, ito, isang question sa akin. So Sam, insight on the state of shipbuilding and ship repair of the country. Napag-usapan na natin na talagang crucial ang shipbuilding para ma-build ang nation. And we have the potential to be the Asian maritime hub. So we have talked about challenges and opportunities. What else do you see that we have not talked about to see modernization and advancement to be brought about in our domestic shipyards?
Thank you, Ann. Actually, there are a few things pa. But generally, yung pinag-uusapan natin about yung sinabi ni Boss Chet about yung benchmarking with other countries, you can see how much the government is involved. Hindi talaga eh. Kailangan talaga government is involved eh. Kahit anong gawin natin dito sa private sector, we need the government involved here. Yung tulong sa industriya about the domestic shipbuilding, domestic shipping, nakikita naman natin bakit hindi sila makapag-modernize kaagad even if they want to. I'm sure all the local owners would want to have a brand new vessel then, right? You know, instead sa 20, 30-year-old vessels nila eh. But the thing is, yung cost of doing business, yung cost of finance, hindi talaga siya conducive. So we just need to benchmark and follow what the others are doing. Sa akin, may pera ang bayan. Sabi nga ni dating Congressman Jess Manalo ng Angka Party List, sabi niya sa akin, Sam, ano lang yan eh, may pera ang bayan. It's a matter of how you lobby and you convince the lawmakers na eto, samahan mo nito. Ito, kailangan to ngayon, urgent. Yung ganun. How to allocate and how to present your case eh. So yun yung kailangan natin, I think more champions in the industry sa Kongreso and Senado to take up this schedule. And I think one way then to convince them is to inform them ilan ba ang botante ng maritime natin, di ba? Kung makita nila, uy, pwede ako mag-senador sa boto ng maritime, okay, puro maritime legislation ang gagawin ko. Yun ata ang ating kulang, if you ask me. Marami pa. Kasi we're not even talking about yung issue sa greenhouse effects, electrification, and all this thing. Sa akin, yan yung isa sa technology that Soname is looking at because we believe, kasi sa kamahalan nga ng fuel for operating in Philippines, related to that, if I can just add, no, may time pa naman konti, yung amended Public Services Act allowing foreign companies to take part in the domestic shipping. Surprisingly, as per the last board meeting natin sa Marina, wala pang takers. It's really because yung cost nga of doing business here is high. Hindi sila kikita. So yung issue sa electrification, very sa technology. In fact, we are involved with the DOST UP project for yung electric boats for Pasig River. DOST funded it already. We're in the stage of awarding it to the health provider, and so on and so forth. Meron pang mga projects kami about sale. Yun yung things that we need to look at too para to reduce the cost for our domestic owners. Marami pa. So hopefully this can answer that question, Ann. If I
Yes. So making the business environment more conducive so that we get more investments in the maritime industry. You know, while you were saying that, I couldn't help but think about my son who's studying maritime education in New York and who studied, graduate na pala, now working in NYC ferries. So, ang business model nila doon ay ang State of New York provided the land for their shipyard, buys the ship, and then they get the private sector partner to operate the ships for them because they know that's not their business, that's not their expertise, diba? But they subsidize by providing the land so that it makes it easier for the shipping company to operate kasi hindi na siya kailangang bumili ng lupa, hindi siya kailangang bumili ng barko itself because the state is providing it because the state believes that it is their responsibility to connect their island or connect their state, the state of New York.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is divided by water. So yun, and we sent our kids there because for succession planning. We wanted them to learn from the best, diba? Yung mas advanced sa atin so that whatever technology they learn, they can bring it back to the country. O nga pala, sa shout out ko lang sila Sam kasi nakikinig sila. Nakikinig yung anak ko sa New York because the dad always tells them, watch mom. So yan, hi Matthew and CJ. Anyway, okay. Phone-in question pa, Sam. So you were talking about the workforce, how our young people must be involved, and we are an evolving industry. The global industry is now talking about electric ships. In fact, I'm going to Buffalo, New York in May to attend the blessing of Made of the Mist electric ship ng tourist boat na nagpapasyal sa Niagara Falls ng New York and New York. Yes, New York, it's basta Niagara. Anong parte ba yan? New York ba and Toronto? Yan, New York and Toronto. So, Worldwide Ferry Safety, di ba? I sit in the board. It invited to attend the blessing of the electric ship. Imagine niyo po yun. Pinag-uusapan na ron, electric ship. Okay, so ang tanong po dito, how do you develop a skilled workforce? So, what's your dream for our maritime education? You were talking about the numbers, and definitely with 114 million Filipinos and about 1,400 lang na maritime so namin, naval architects and marine engineers. What do you see happening and what's your wish list for the skilled workforce of shipbuilding in our country?
Good question again. Thank you for the question. Siguro I could dream about being a South Korea in the future, wherein there's a lot of orders here, building ships, hindi lang Chuneshi, others are here, and building all of our requirements here, and also for abroad. And during that time, you will have not just one towing tank, but 6 towing tanks, like in Korea. You have several state colleges offering master's, doctor's degree in naval architecture. Alam niyo po, even in Korea now, yung mga may doctorate degree ng naval architecture na maintaining the towing tank are getting old. Is my age. So kulang na yung next batch. Yan yung opportunity for the Philippines. Because if we're strong dun sa research and design aspect of designing and building vessels like Korea, the orders are there. Yung confidence are there. We will be building a series of this type of vessels kasi proven na yung design. And it all starts there. Sabi nga, it all starts with us. Hindi naman sa bago magsiman, kami muna naval architect na gagawa. Pero that's why, for us, we really want to focus on, uplifting ourselves, upgrading ourselves with whatever means. Although very slowly, at least, nandun na yung structure. The structure for this program, Naval Architecture with SHED, is already there. We're so happy about it. So yun, road mapping na, budgeting na. DOST now is very much aware about us. So dati, nagagawa sila ng mga floating dredgers or water lily recovery. It was funny. They just look at YouTube and design it by themselves. Nalaman namin, pero kasi medyo tumatagilid yung barge. So, but now, DOST, yung mga projects nila sa floating, they ask us, our group, para they're properly advised na yung stability and whatever it is, the structure. That's how I see it. Kasi when we are strong on this aspect, yung shipyard workers and all the people involved, sama-sama na yan yung mga outfitting, yung mga sa wood, carpentry, engines, paint, all these things, propellers, andun na but we need to have, kailangan strong tayo doon. In fact, kaya nga, even if I can say, we talk about a little bit about class societies sa domestic natin. When it was required, hindi yun, for me, hindi siya yung tamang environment kasi nailagay sa law yun na kailangan classed. But the thing is, if you look at the international environment, kaya nagka-class kasi ini-insure yung barko. Ini-insure yung hull and machinery, ganun. In our domestic context, hindi naman siya required. Pero ni-require natin yung class. Pero class is so important to check on the quality and the safety standards natin, di ba, sa domestic shipping. Kaya lang, because of that scenario, kumaga, ang tingin ng owners, okay, we'll just comply with it. Wala namang benefit sa amin, di ba? But sa international, kung wala ka insurance, hindi ka makabiyahe. So, wala ka namang insurance kung wala kang class. So yung class talaga inaayos nila yung barko. So hopefully, I'm not saying na to require all sa domestic ng insurance. I'm just saying yung class kasi dapat ayusin natin sistema. Although I'm so happy, Marina, since last year, already we adopted a unified rules for the domestic class. Pero marami pang dapat gawin para makatulong kami sa ship owners. Ship owners kasi should treat it as their partner, not as additional expense. Yun lang, yun isa pa sa issue sa class, sa maritime safety issue.
Yeah, kami sa Fastcat Modern Ships, bago kami pautangin para pagbili ng barko, requirement kailangan internationally classed. Okay, so they don't even say just Philippine, they don't say Philippine class. They say international, IACS, they say IACS. So I always say nga, class means additional expense. But yes, I get what you mean. It may be an expense, but later on, in terms of safety, you get it back, no? You lessen accident because accident is expensive. And I think we have to have a change in mindset, no, in the way we look at it. And I don't see also anything wrong with having insurance, because then that is really risk management, diba? So if we all buy into it, parang even lang yung playing field, maganda naman talaga yan para sa industriya, di ba? Okay.
If I can one more thing about class. Nabanggit mo na rin yan. And I had some discussion with your ex-boyfriend, Chet, about this. Kasi yun nga, nire-require natin pag i-import, dapat IACS class. Sana the future is kahit Philippine class ay internationally recognized na hindi na kailangan ng IACS. Kasi bakit pa tayo mag-accredit ang marina ng class kung iba ang tingin sa IACS? Dapat isa lang standard ng safety, right? So the future is sana yung Philippine class natin is also recognized yung standard niya for the government to accept, kahit Philippine class yan, pwedeng i-import. That will also reduce your costs of importation, if I can add.
Yeah, that's true, no? Yeah, we really should think about us Filipinos and value, what we do. Kasi nararamdaman ko yan sasabihin, ano yan, domestic lang?
Yes.
Wala naman dapat pinagkaiba. The standards that we serve our people here in our country should be the same as we do when we serve, internationally. It should be the same, di ba? Ay, nako. Anyway, may question third about environment, Sam. And ikikwento ko lang sa Sam, alam mo ba, sa Fastcat ngayon, nagkakabit na kami ng decarbonization equipment so that we can reduce our carbon emission, actually measure it and report it, no? Para green sailing. Meron kaming tagline na kini-create, very green future, di ba? A very green future. So, question, in relation to shipbuilding and ship repair activities, would you consider the practices we have now as environmentally sustainable and responsible ocean practices na ba ang meron dito sa ating bayan? Or kung hindi pa, where are we? Have we started and where are we?
For the question is about shipbuilding ba?
In relation to balancing shipbuilding and ship repair activities with environmental sustainability and responsible ocean practices, what is needed to accomplish this?
Good. Another good question, because we had some discussions before. In fact, magkakaroon ng third national convention ng Shipyard Association of the Philippines in Cebu on April 16, 17. One thing that I mentioned to Marina is to have, kasi, we need to have our own environmental standards. Right now, ang nagre-regulate niyan si DNR for the shipyards. And you can see naman ang shipyards natin, especially ship repair, how they handle the, yung mga oils or fuels and all this old paint and this thing, saan napupunta. Sana we can have that standard para we can also tackle that issue on sustainability, environmental issue. Already in 2016, Marina imposed the requirement for having ISO certification on all shipyards. As of now, hindi pa tapos yan up to now. It's taking some time. Yun, ano na lang, very simple ISO na lang. Ito pang issue sa environmental standard. See, but it needs to be tackled because, you know, we don't want to be contributing to the pollution of the seas as we have thousands of ships in the domestic flag. Yun na, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, you know, we're doing our bit there in our CSR, training some fisher folks in the use of anti-fouling paint and, you know, a use of paints that are marine environment friendly, because we realize that the destruction it is causing to our marine environment. No, diba? It takes hundreds of years, you know, to have the underwater grow and for it to be healthy, and it just takes one dynamite fisherman to destroy that. Oh my God! So we have to increase the awareness. Okay, another question. Considering Tsunami's role in advocating for the industry, what specific action or policies do you believe would be most impactful in propelling the sector forward and achieving our maritime ambition?
Wow.
Okay. Bigat, ah? Okay.
So, legislation lang ulit. Let's level the playing field.
Correct.
Whatever we give to our foreign shipyards located here, let's give it to the domestic shipbuilders, especially building for domestic. Kasi for me, if Tsuneshi is able to build all those vessels na ini-import lang yung steel, not even having a steel factory here, pero pagdating dito walang VAT, walang tax, gawin na rin natin sa domestic shipyards, right? And ano yan, may ripple effect na modernize talaga, you know, yung ating domestic shipbuilding. Legislation lang, kagaya sinabi ni Ka Alex kanina. We need to focus on that, the ship registry, even sa PMMA law lang, you know, all this thing needs to be addressed.
Sir Sam, pahabol lang.
Yeah.
Pahabol. We're discussing about legislation at pag na-realize na pagbigyan ng gobyerno, nabigyan ng tamang focus, mag-iiba ang pace ng shipbuilding. And hopefully, magkakaroon talaga tayo ng globally competitive shipyard. Now, medyo mahirap dahil kukunti lang ang kumukuha ng naval architecture, mga estudyante. Ibig sabihin, parang hindi naman endangered ang kurso o profesyon na ito. Pero dahil napakaselan, napaka-highly technical, highly academic, scientific at that, ang nangyayari kasi sa Pilipinas, parang nagiging gilingan tayo ng mga professionals not bound to render services sa bansa natin. Kadalasan, pag nagiging master na sa ganyang field, kinukuha ng ibang bansa. Ibig sabihin, kailangan para mabingo natin yung inaasam-asam natin, habang inihintay natin ang legislation at ang suporta ng gobyerno, kailangan hindi tayo mawawala ng think tanks. Ito, mga kabataan na ito, will be our future think tanks sa shipbuilding. Ang mindset ba ng mga kabataang ito ay nandito sila sa ganitong field para buuin ang pangarap ng Pilipinas na magiging isa sa globally competitive shipbuilder? Or baka ang mindset ng iba dyan, pagkatapos nila, nilipad sila ng ibang bansa kung saan napaka-lucrative ng magiging offer ng ibang bansa para sa kanila. So, how do we manage the mindsetting of this young generation na kung tawagin ay mga future think tanks natin sa ating pangarap?
Thank you, Ka Alex. Ano rin ho yan darating ibang profession We're always competing sa international, hindi lang domestic, di ba? Kaya nga ho, kung ang state universities ang nag-offer nito, since they are scholars, so mag-graduate ko ng BS degree, pwedeng sabihin, hindi ka pwedeng lumabas ng bansa. Magtrabaho ka muna dito. Kung bibigyan ng scholarship, and it's in the mandate of all the state universities na bigyan ng mga upgrading courses like master's degree, mga estudyante, they are required to serve sa government or dito o mag-education, ganun. So may time frame yun. If I remember, nung bagong tatag pa lang ang Marina, 1970 plus. Ito yung mga sagot lang. Hindi naman ako ganun katanda, pero ito yung kwento sa akin ng mga pioneers sa mga Marina. They were sent abroad to study, but they are required to serve in Marina for some time. So yun yung sagot ka, Alex, na yung mga expertise na to ma-retain sa atin.
That's right.
And then during that time, pwede na silang mag-abroad or something, whatever they want to do. But definitely may sagot din mo dyan.
Nice. Nako, we have 4 minutes. Mika, i-flash mo na ang last question before
Wala tayo oras.
Yeah, wala na tayong oras. But
Bilis lang.
Sam, thank you. Okay. Carmelo Villar, Manila Times and Fast Maritime is sharing the good news that PBBM just announced that he has signed, approved, and adopted the MIDP 2028 under EO 55 ni Secretary Bersamin just now. Wow. Fresh off the press. Yes. Okay, Antonio Liusala. Sam Lim, good morning. It's nice to hear your thoughts on the subject matter.
Thank you, Tony.
Yes, thank you talaga, Sam, for gracing our show this morning. Good morning, watching from Liloan Port. Merlin Cristobal Eludo. Yes, thank you for watching. Mabini Herbert, good morning. Good morning. At sa Radio North, happy Radio Day to you. Joanne,
Thank you.
good morning. Yes, Wima Maritime, si Joanne. Thank you, Joanne, for supporting us and being here. Meron pa ba tayong question? Because we wanted to recognize them. Recognize them. Hi daw, Sir Chet. Okay, nag-hi sila. Ayan. Kung wala ng question, Sam, we'll give you the last say for this morning's Anytime Maritime show. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for sharing your time.
Thank you, Sir Sam.
To us. Please give your last words. GM Alex, maraming salamat. Sam?
Maraming salamat.
Thank you din ho. From the bottom of my heart also, and ka-Alex, nice to be with you today. It's just I'm doing my part to really promote our maritime. We always say it's quite neglected, and that's why we want more of these opportunities to showcase what we need to do in our industry. Kasi pag masigabo ang ating industriya, I'm sure masigabo din ang ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. Sure.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you.
Agree. So, Anytime Maritimers, thank you for joining us in this intelligent
Thank you.
conversation.
Anytime Maritime for today.
Yeah, please continue watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you, Sam. Maraming salamat. Engineer.
Guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
DM. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Maritime.